Good morning. Let's talk about clapping. So here's how this is going to go. If the Spirit moves you, I want you to do whatever the Spirit moves for you to do. You can clap, you can stand up and shout. I have even heard rumors of Greg Hebert dancing in the aisles. You may do any of that. If the Spirit doesn't move you, there will be no polite clapping in this sanctuary. Do I have your agreement? Now let's talk about amen. So there's this thing I read recently which I loved. Oh, by the way, welcome everybody. I just jumping right in. Good morning. My name is Reverend Deborah, and it is a delight for me to be with you this morning at Emerson Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Marietta, Georgia. Welcome everybody online. If anybody wants to wave to the online folks, don't forget about you. We know you're there. Hi. You can dance and clap too. So I read this thing recently, which was interesting. This woman was talking about they were not a church-going family, and so the daughter wanted to understand amen because she heard people saying amen. So the mom was kind of saying, well, it's kind of when you have this exclamation or you want to like put a finishing touch on something that you really mean, you say amen. So the daughter thought about this, and of course we are in the age of computers. So the next time someone said something pretty profound that she really liked, she said, send. So from now on, you are welcome to say amen if I say something you would like to send off into the ethers as a definitive, but you may also just say, send. Sounds pretty good, right? Send. Welcome, everybody. You have arrived at a very special day here at Emerson. This is what we call our Ingathering. Traditionally, oh boy, this goes way back, but you know, back when Unitarian congregations were a lot congregated in the Northeast, there was a lot of Unitarian congregations, and many times the ministers were also professors, and so they kind of went by the school calendar. So often, ministers would take summers off, and the congregation would take summers off because they all had to go up to their main summer residences, and so then they would come back in the fall. So it's kind of been this tradition that's kind of kept going, where in the fall, we do what we call ingathering, and we welcome everybody back from your school vacation or any other summer activities that you may have had. And it's also traditional that we do that with what we call a water communion. And this is a time where we honor the water that flows through all of life, and we bless that water, and we combine waters from many, many places as a symbol of us being many, many different people from diverse places coming together to form our community. So later in our service, you are going to be invited to partake in our water communion. And today, we also have another special thing going on, and that is we get to welcome new members, new folks that have been coming to Emerson and have decided to officially sign our book, which I don't see up here, but I'm hoping Millie, you probably know where that is, Millie, the book. They're going to officially sign the book and become members of our congregation. So that will be a fun part of our service today, too. Did I forget anything? I think it's time to sing again. What do you think? I'm going to invite you all to rise in body or spirit. My understanding is the words will be on the screen, but if you want to look them up, they're in the hymnal, the gray hymnal. They're number 131. It's a great opening hymn called Love Will Guide Us. Today is all about love. So let's bring the love, everybody.
Thank you. My name is Leslie McLean, and I'm a member of the worship team, the leadership development team, and the Emerson Choir. I extend my welcome to each of you today, and I'm so glad that you are here. Each Sunday, we pause to light our chalice as a symbol of Unitarian Universalism and our commitment to be a beacon of love in the world. As Lawrence Scow reads the words, where is the chalice? He will also light the chalice.
Our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
Now, in the spirit of the beloved community, let's greet and welcome each other to this new day as we share our congregational affirmation. We need not think alike to love alike. Those in the sanctuary, feel free to move around to offer a greeting to others. For those online, please use the chat to introduce yourself or unmute to say hello.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm Melanie LeMay, and I'm a member of the pastoral care team. You may have noticed that there are 3 candles over here. We light them before the service. One of them honors the Muskogee and Cherokee nations of people who lived on this land before us. A second one honors the Africans who were brought to this land and enslaved. And the third one honors all people throughout the world where there is conflict and injustice. Now, before the service, you're invited to light a candle in honor of anyone who is especially prominent in your thoughts. And you're invited to share a joy, sorrow, or concern in the pastoral care book, which is this. And it's located on the clear podium in the back of the sanctuary. Well, actually in the front of the sanctuary as you're coming in. Now, before I share joy, sorrows, and concerns, I want to tell you a story. This is about my granddaughter, Elise. And this happened when she was about almost 1 year old. So she didn't know very many words, but she did know some significant words. So one day we were out in my front yard, and Elise was out there playing with her water table, and she looked up when the garbage truck was coming down the street. And it was really big, really scary, and really loud. And Elise was terrified. She had never been outside when the garbage truck came by before. So she didn't know what this big, awful, noisy thing was. So she looked around for the nearest adult, who happened to be me, and she ran to me and said one of those significant words, "Hug, hug." So I wrapped my arms around her and held her really tightly, and she still was terrified, but she felt a little bit better. Now, we have big, noisy trucks in our lives, too. It may be cancer, it may be divorce, rejection, discouragement, or depression, or loneliness, or something terrible that just shouts out, "I needed a hug." Whenever there's something like that that is really bothering you, that's what the pastoral care team is here for. If you have joys, we want to share those with you too. Just as I can share with you Elisa's joy when she hears the lilting music of the ice cream truck that comes down her street. So let me share with you a joy today from Josh Johnson. I love this. He says it took 2 months, but he finally asked his boss for a raise. And he got it. Josh says this is not an invitation to ask to borrow money from him, however. If you have joys to share and you're online, you can put them in the chat. If you have sorrows and concerns to share, you can do that as well. Now, let's do the Buddhist care of loving kindness, which I dropped on the floor, so I'm going to pick it up. And repeat after me. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be free from harm and suffering. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. May we all be well in body, heart, and mind. And may we all be at peace. May we all be at peace. Blessed be. Thank you.
One way we seek to share loving kindness is by partnering with other organizations who work to bring love, kindness, and justice to the world. This month, we are in partnership with Freedom University. Georgia has the most discriminatory bans against undocumented students in the country. Freedom University is based in Atlanta and provides rigorous college preparation classes, college and scholarship application assistance, and social movement leadership training for undocumented students banned from equal access to public higher education in Georgia. We encourage each of you to support their work, financially through our Share the Basket program and also by engaging in direct action. Please offer a donation as you are able, or take one of the cards that describes the ways to give electronically. Ways to give are also posted in the chat. All donations, unless otherwise specified, are shared equally with Emerson and our partner organization.
can tell something good's gonna happen right now, can't you? All right, may I have all the young and young at heart to race down the aisle? This is your chance to run in the sanctuary, everybody. You may run in the sanctuary, because I have a story for all ages. Come on down. Keep in mind you're on the screen. All right. Ooh, come on over. Miss Beth, you might want to, I'm going to sit down. Do you want to sit down? So, now this story I'm about to tell you, it's an adaptation, like a lot adapted from a story that's an old West African story from Ghana. But in this story features somebody that some of you met several weeks ago. Does anybody recognize this guy? This is Bobby the Bobcat. Hi, Bobby. Everybody say hi to Bobby. Now, there's something you need to know about Bobby, and you might relate to this, everyone. Bobby liked when others liked him, right? Does anybody have that? Do you like when others like you? You know that feeling? But here's the thing about Bobby. Bobby didn't just like when others liked him. He loved when others loved him. He just loved that furry, warm feeling. Do you know that feeling when you can just feel you're loved? Do you know that feeling? Yeah? Okay, so that's how Bobby felt. And Bobby thought, you know what? I want to get more of this feeling. I want to feel more love. So I have heard that deep in the woods where I live, there is a wise one named Soda. Soda. So Bobby goes through the woods. Now, the woods are dark, so imagine the woods is dark. Cover your eyes for a second. It's all dark. And Bobby, is going through the woods, and he finds a cave, and he goes into the cave, and it's even darker in the cave, so he's got to get really, really brave. But Bobby's really, really brave because Bobby really wants to find Soda. So Bobby goes through the cave, and all of a sudden, there's Soda.
Oh, mighty Soda, you have seen everything and know all things. Would you share your great wisdom with me? How can I have more love in my life?
All the love in the world.
Oh, wait, there's a different one. Hold on. We forgot the love pot line.
All the love in the world. In this pot. Put it, I will.
And so Soda put all the love in the world into this one pot and gave it to Bobby. Ooh. So Bobby opens up the lid and looks in, and all the love in the world started pouring out to Bobby. And Bobby looked in, and the most beautiful things they'd ever seen. Do you want to see too? You can't, because Bobby's selfish. The most beautiful things you are in there. And Bobby heard all the most beautiful sounds. But Bobby was selfish, and Bobby thought, What'd Bobby think?
I must hide this magic
Why
pot.
is it that Bobby sounds kind of like Soda? We practiced this.
I must hide this jug full of love.
So Bobby decides he's going to hide this jug full of love. So he takes the pot of love, and he sees this big tree and decides, I'm going to climb to the very, very top of this big tree, and there's a branch out there, and there's leaves, and on the top of that I'm going to hide it, and no one will ever see this pot of love, so I can keep it for myself. But you know what? Climbing was pretty hard when you're holding a pot. Have you ever tried to climb a tree while holding a pot? Don't try it. Do not try this at home. So Bobby goes and climbs up and 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 up. But right as Bobby was getting to the top of the branch, guess who was up there? Soda!
Experience you've had. Pass it on. Within you, the love is.
Did you hear that? Let's hear it again. Make sure the mic's on.
Within you, the love is.
Within you the love is. Now, Soda didn't say that kind of angrily. Soda didn't say it in a mean way at all. Soda actually looked deep into Bobby's eyes and said it.
Within you, the love is.
And just in that moment, Bobby got it. And Bobby knew what he needed to do. Now, it just so happened that this tree overlooked a big river. So Bobby let the pot of love fall down, and it tumbled, and splashed in the river. And that is how the river of love was created. And now anybody at any time can go up to the river. Go ahead up to the river and take a scoop out and feel the love. Bathe yourself with love. Everybody scoop out from the river and just feel the love. And you know what else you can do with the river love? Give it to somebody else. And that is how love started to be shared throughout the whole world. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Soda. Children, you want to do our... Spontaneous clapping. Let's do our song of dedication. Thank you, Soda. You are a wonderful, Soda. Thank you, Bobby. I think we have Millie Fuller and Wynn Scour going to join us up here. I'll put the book over here. Go ahead.
I love these words on the insert. And I thought maybe we could start by saying them together. Sure. Where it says welcome, or if you don't say them with me, I'll just say them by myself. In this religious community, we reach back into the past to honor those who came before us and those who have given much so that we may be here today. We reach forward with hands of welcome to embrace those who have newly joined our congregation. Wherever your path may take you, may you carry the good news you have heard here today with you in your heart and on your lips as a blessing to everyone you may meet. We have 10 new members today. And with your permission, I would like to invite all of those new members to come forward.
Do you have their names? Do you have that script I made you?
What?
Remember this? I made you a script.
Oh, you did? Is it here? Sorry. So, we have Sarah Drew, Riley Lyons, Josh Johnson, Michael Lukens, Douglas Fuchs, Cliff Rowan.
We want to have them each come up and sign the book, too.
Okay. Okay, sorry.
We didn't rehearse this part.
We didn't rehearse.
So as Wynn invites and says your name, we'll invite you to come down and sign the book. And this book is a book that has been here. Millie, how long has this book been here? Oh, you don't have a mic, Millie. This book has been here since the beginning of time. This is the, everybody who is a member here, and those of you who are members know this, this is the membership book.
It's amazing it's not more tattered.
It is amazing. And Millie's name is here, and all the beginning members are here. So when Wynn says your name, if you could come forward, you'll sign your name here, and then Millie will offer you a rose, but come to the sign first. and I'll offer you a gift. And Maggie has a little something for you too. So you get lots of gifts today.
So I'll start over. Okay. My name is Wynn Scow, and I'm the chair of our membership committee. And I am going to try to, I thought we maybe had something, oh no, we just have this here. Okay.
They have it in the order of service?
Yes, you have
Right. So if you say
a bio in the order of service. And so the first person that I'm going to ask to sign is Sarah Drew. Sarah is in her final year of seminary at Emory's Chandler School of Theology. She's working towards a career in hospital chaplaincy and becoming a UU fellowshipped minister. This summer, Sarah has transitioned to being a member, we're so excited, and enjoys her current roles as co-chair of the Aesthetics Committee, a member of the Pastoral Care Team, and a member of the Creativity Matters Listening Circle. You can sign up for Sarah's brand new monthly newsletter at www.blueskysunday.com.
Are you selling t-shirts too, Sarah? Not yet.
Oh, not yet, okay.
Welcome, Sarah.
Very soon. So welcome, Sarah.
And when you can keep me, because we have
The next person is Riley Lyons,
Hey, Riley.
who is a barista and full-time student in his senior year for elementary education. And I'm excited to say that he's going to be helping with our RE class, which is great. He has 2 children, a son age 20 who's in college in Kentucky, and Daniela, who will be 12 in October. And he's excited to be a part of this community and we're excited to have him as well. He doesn't have, like many of us, he doesn't have a specific set of beliefs to be boxed into. But he's interested in dinosaurs, sharks, museums, and outer space. Sounds like a perfect elementary teacher, doesn't he? Okay, the next person is Josh Johnson, who we're so glad that he's joining us this time.
Got a raise?
I'm 45, he's 45-year-old software engineer, son of a Baptist and then a Methodist minister. He grew up in the Bible Belt and in the evangelical home. Rejected Christianity, like many of us did, during his last year of college at Auburn University. And then since then he's wanted to be in a church without all the nonsense. So UU Faith is perfect. Okay, and the next person is Michael Lukens. And if I'm saying your name wrong, you should just correct me. And, okay. Michael and Douglas. You could go down at the same time, Douglas. They've been married for 18 years, and they've been together for 18 years and married for 6. Michael grew up Mormon and left religion when he came out at age 37. He loves to quilt, crochet, spend time with friends, cook, throw parties, and be a grandpa man. We have lots in common. And Douglas grew up in Tallahassee, spent 10 years in Colorado, and then moved to Atlanta in 1995 to work as an administrator at Emory University. He's been a road warrior ever since, happily married to Michael. And I get them mixed up, but I shouldn't. Yes, Douglas? Yes, I know, but I met them at the same time. Anyway, I have no excuse. And then we have Cliff and Michelle. So if you guys will come down together. Cliff is a father, husband, son, and a Jedi. His spirituality is built on justice, equality, diversity, and inclusion. My Jedi path has led me to Emerson. I love this. When I first met Cliff, I was there. Oh, this is really cool. I need to hear more about it. And Michelle, wife, mother of 3 wonderful little people, has been a nurse for 13 years, most of it spent in women's health. And she attended the congregation in Boston, Massachusetts, and fell in love with UUism. Fast forward, and here she is with us. Yay! We're so glad that both of you have joined us. And then we have Anna and James. And I'll call them down together too, because they are a couple. As soon as we get Cliff's finished here. Anna is from Granada, Spain, and lives in Woodstock with her partner James and their 4-legged baby, mini poodle named Kira. Anna works at KSU and is a lecturer of Spanish and foreign language education. She is a member of our Spanish listening circle, as is James, and so I've gotten to know her a little bit, but we're really excited that they're actually joining us. When James was a little boy, he carried a candle with him. That candle represented his faith for higher power. I love this. James, this is so beautiful. I'm going to read the whole thing. During adolescence, he chose to put that candle down and walk away. 12 plus years later, his higher power led him back to that candle. There it was, shining bright as ever. His spiritual journey involves following the light of that candle one step at a time. So long as he stays on that path, life just keeps getting better. He is grateful Emerson gives me space to choose his own understanding of a higher power. It's like a poem. And finally, last but not least, is Mary Miller, and Mary Miller is lost. Wait, oh, I found her. Mary was raised in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, a little science town. She's from an Irish family and raised Catholic, but it was a laid-back flavor of Catholic. In college, she majored in biochemistry, psych, comparative religious studies, and later got a library science master's. She works for a nonprofit organization for libraries, and she's been married to her husband, Mitch, for 32 years. He's retired, and they have a 25-year-old daughter and a 22-year-old son. They have a lab named Rowan, ironically enough, and a crazy lab mix Aussie, and also a beleaguered cat. I'd like to meet this cat, named Dodger. So Maggie made this really complicated for me because mine happens to be all upside down and backwards. Here we go. But they're not all this way, I understand it.
We gave a special one to you, and it's a little challenge.
She made a special one for me. So the new member covenant. Do you guys have your? Oh, okay. If you don't have
Does
it,
everybody have it? There's a couple extra copies here if we need to.
here we go. We'll read this together. New members.
Wynn, could you wait 1 second because we have a couple that don't have it.
Good.
Let's see.
Thank you. It's somewhere in there.
There we go.
Believe me, trust me.
Okay.
Oh, you
Do we
have
need
an
another
extra
one?
Okay. Okay, we're good.
Does everybody have one? Okay.
Okay, we're ready. We enter this faith with hope and possibility in our hearts, pledging to participate in and support the ministries of this congregation. We covenant to remain true to the spirit of love that flows through us and guides us. We seek your welcome as we join you in this faith. We are all connected. And congregation response, please.
I'll invite everybody to stand if you'd like. This is our response to our new members.
We welcome you as once we were welcomed. We seek to be open and inclusive, respecting your inherent dignity, your ideas, and your vision. We seek to be supportive, not only when we encourage, but also when you reach out to you. In return, we ask that you recognize our humanity. We will not always live up to our ideals, and when we fall short, we invite you to stay in relationship with us and help us more fully bring alive the spirit of love. We welcome you as an equal member of this congregation.
This is the time for spontaneous cheering. Thank you, everybody. Welcome. You're welcome to stay and partake and also offer a sermon. If you would rather not, then I invite you to sit. Sarah, you're coming back for a sermon sometime. Thank you all.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, all of you.
And the choir has a special message for our new members as well. Send, 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 send. But you know what's easy? Having thoughts and ideas and concepts about love. I mean, after all, with the blink of an eye, we can think ourselves, we can imagine anything. Imagine the world as one big happy family. Imagine all the people living this day in peace. It takes little effort to sit back and come up with all kinds of theories about love, too. Now, have you ever thought that perhaps the world is one big video game? I know you've thought this. And we are being controlled by some teenage life forms from another planet who have created us as their avatars and who have the power over what we do and say. Yes, Tamsin, this is true. And right before they achieve peace, right before we achieve peace, to win that level and level up, right then, on the verge of the all-encompassing love of the world, their parents make them stop and go do their homework. So we are just left suspended. It's true, isn't it, Lawrence? And of course, many of us have had the experience of creating documents about love. With a swipe of a pen or a few keystrokes, we create incredible sounding documents that declare our principles of life and love and craft amazing agreements with each other to ensure that love will always be there. Well, just today, just now, we shared a document of promise as we welcomed our new members, and we declared our intentions and they declared theirs to us. I've noticed Unitarian Universalists really like covenants, these agreements. Many groups and committees will take time to create a covenant of how they agree to be together in love. And our 7 principles, they're written as a covenant. They begin with, we as Unitarian Universalist congregations affirm and promote. And then they list the principles. We promise each other to uphold these principles. Now, of course, if any of you have been married or done a commitment ceremony, you probably have a document of your own of vows that you shared, your marriage covenant. So here's a question for all of you who fall into this category of the people who have or have ever been married or created a relationship covenant. How many of you have displayed that covenant, those vows, somewhere in your house on a wall and framed it up? Anybody? Do you have it written down anywhere? You have it written down, okay. So how many of you that have these covenants written down, when you have gone through a tough part in your relationship, how many of you had pulled that out from the drawer, dusted it off, and said to your partner, wait a second. Before we go any further in this argument, let me take time to reflect on our relationship covenant and the promises I've made to you. And let me do some inner inquiry to see where I may be out of covenant with you and I need to change. Who said that to their partners? Why is there laughing? These were serious covenants. You spent thousands of dollars so people can witness you saying these things to each other. Yeah. Perhaps I'll get a few more hands go up if I ask this question. How many people have literally or figuratively held up a covenant in these situations, married or otherwise, and said, see, you're out of covenant with me. Look at the promises you have broken. Of course, the minister's husband has never gone through that, but honey, this is what happens in some relationships. As I said, thoughts and ideas and concepts about love, easy. Always living love, not so easy. Amen? Namaste. I bow to the light in you. But now that we're talking about light, can I point out all the dark places in you too? No, you don't want me to do that? Okay, well, I'm going to think about them anyway. The minute you've done it, right? I promise to assume good intentions. That is a piece in many of our covenants we make around here. I vow to assume good intentions. Unless, of course, what you say triggers some old wound in me, and then, well, I knew what you really did mean, that you really meant to hurt me. And by the way, I have proof. Let me show you these emails. Amen. Send. Okay, so we are human. We all experience the great human fragility of imperfection. And as Brene Brown says, you are imperfect. You are wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging. So what's the antidote? How do we live love, given those tendencies? Well, we are in a religious setting here this morning, so let's talk about faith. Anybody just shiver when I said that word? Faith, 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 faith. Now, I know this word sometimes gets a bad rap around here. As Unitarian Universalists, we sometimes only see faith as connected to the unscientific and therefore unreal beliefs that others may hold. And although I will agree that we are a religion that does not require you to have faith in a specific deity or any deity at all, if you do not want to, we are a faith that does not require for you to believe in a list of things that cannot be empirically proven, like virgin births or arks filled with animals 2x2s, or that one person's resurrection will save you. But make no mistake, my friends, about Unitarian Universalism. We are a religion here where faith is most definitely required. We may not always be able to see it, hear it, touch it, smell it, or taste it, and it may not always be quantifiable or able to be put into a spreadsheet or a graph, but to be a Unitarian Universalist, I do believe that we must have faith in the experience, the power, the persistence, the healing potential, the universality, the omnipresence of love. As Rumi says, even if you have broken your vows 100 times, come, come, whoever you are. And he's meaning come into this river of love. That river that Bobby the Bobcat created for us many years ago. So the first question I have for you is this: do you have faith that such a river exists? Do you have faith that there is a river of love and that you are in that river right now? Do you have faith in a universal love that you cannot be out of that river? Right? So here's my version of the creation story. I think we get born and splat, we go into this river of life, which happens to be the river of love. All the births are water births, by the way. And we take a breath and we climb into our little boats, and our boats are our bodies, and we go sailing down this river. Now, when we're babies, we just float, right? We're not bothered by too much. We're just floating on the river. We assume everybody loves us. We assume we're rocking by a baby, having a good time. So there we are in this river of love. Then all of a sudden, some brain cells come online and they start thinking. And they start noticing that there's other boats out in the river. Not a big deal at first, but then one day another boat bumps into ours and we're like, whoa, who did that? Why are you bumping into my boat? Well, watch this. I can bump into your boat too. I tell a secret because my daughters never listen to my sermons anyway. My oldest one was that little kid, that toddler in playgroup that always thought it would be a fun experiment to see what happened if you took the toy and hit it over the other kid's head. Bump. Anyway, so there we are in this river of love, and we are bumping into others and sometimes not caring, but sometimes becoming irritated. And then one day it happens. Oh, this is that dun dun dun. That's pretty good. Let's try it again. One day it happens. We're trying it again. Okay, here we go. Back up. And then one day it happens.
Not what you wanted.
Yeah, it's fine. No, that was good. And we go to this place called school, and they tell us about our oars. And they say, listen, you're going to have these oars in life, and you're going to have to learn how to use them. And if you learn how to use these oars, you can control anything, and you can get what you want, and you can get it fast. And then someone tells us, well, as we're floating down the river, oh, yeah, if you're just floating down the river, that's for losers, buddy. You got to pick up those oars and you got to paddle yourself as fast as you can and hightail it down the stream to get there first, because that's where the pot of money is and you want the pot of money. So we pick up our oars and we start to paddle, 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 paddle fast, trying really hard. And guess what happens when you're in a river and you paddle, 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 paddle really fast? Start paddling upstream, right? But you don't notice that you're upstream. You just are so busy paddling, because you're trying. And you're judging all the people that are floating down the stream. We paddle really fast, so we will outrace all those losers flowing down the stream with us and beat them. You see, Bruce, some people are very competitive at games, and they think their purpose is to win. I will fill you in on that later.
That's because you lost.
It was not a fair game, okay? I was busy. Okay, but here's the thing. In our hurry, we usually paddle so hard that we get turned around and we start paddling upstream, all the while judging those that are paddling downstream or just relaxing. We become so frantic in our paddling that we start to hit rocks, bang into boats, get stranded in eddies, or just simply get so tired that we give up. And you know what? Often it takes reaching that point when we just have that aha moment and we think, maybe I can put down the oars. And sometimes it does take disease, or it does take working too much and getting to exhaustion, or it does take losing a job or losing a relationship. And at some point we realize all those things I'm trying so hard to do and get and be are just exhausting me. And all the while, here I am in this river. And it's a river of love. And it's just there. And those moments, when we have those really hard times, often there's two kinds of faith that can come to us. And there is this one kind of faith that says, hey, don't worry, there's a better place when you die. Just hang in there. It's all going to be over soon, and you get to go someplace better. But that's not the kind of faith of Unitarian Universalism. In Unitarian Universalism, the faith that is there is this faith that is grounded in this idea that says, hey, I see you're having a hard time right here, right now, but don't forget, you are actually floating in and surrounded by a river of love. All you have to do is let go. Because your natural born condition, your natural born by the fate that you were born into this river of love. And that's what this faith says over and over again. I can't tell you what to believe theologically. I don't know for sure if I am an avatar in some teenage aliens game or not. But I know that by virtue of being here, I am intimately surrounded and connected to love. Alan Watts has this great quote. He says, faith is a state of openness or trust. To have faith is like when you trust yourself to water. You don't grab hold of the water when you swim, because if you do, you will become stiff and tight in the water and you will sink. You have to relax. And the attitude of faith is the very opposite of clinging and holding. Do you remember when you learned how to swim? when you first learned how to float. I remember teaching my daughters how to swim and holding their little bodies and saying, just trust the water. And eventually I could take my hand off their head and she was okay. And then eventually take my hands away from the body. And there was that moment. It's an exhilarating moment, the moment you realize you can float. And I wonder, is there something going on in your life right now that's causing you to slap at your water of life? What is that thing? What's the thing that you got your oars so up, ready to paddle, to control? What is the thing that you're trying so hard to overcome that you're just slapping at it and slapping at it? And what would it be like if you remembered that your birthright is to float? That's all. If you had faith that the river of love was holding you right now, no matter what condition you are facing, what would your life be like? And this remembering, this call to remembering is the reason we come here on Sunday mornings. It's the reason we attend listening circles or other activities, because we need reminded. And it is our call to each other to remind each other when we're having a hard time. I can't fix the thing for you, but I can remind you there is a body of love holding you. So let yourself float. Have faith. The river of love has you. So my prayer for you this morning is that may you go forth remembering where you are and who you are. May you remember to put down the oars and rest. May you find joy in your buoyancy on this great river of love. And may we be a community that creates one big joyous party boat float boat, as we float down the stream together. So let's do that now. Let's say amen and send. So it's a tradition this time of year for us to join our energies together. So if you came in this morning and brought water from near or far, I'm going to invite you to get that out, or perhaps you got one of the little containers of water from the back. If you do not have a container of water, and it doesn't need to be one per family, it can be one per person, can I have our greeters? I don't know if they've just disappeared. Millie, would you find our greeters? They seem to have stepped out for a second. Raise your hand if you don't have some water, because I'd like everybody to have a little container of water. Josh needs some water. James, will you pick a few up there and hand them out? Husband's work is never done. I think Josh needed one over here too, Millie. And I'm going to invite you. Oh, we have one up front here. Somebody needs one right here. Josh? Do we have some needs back here? Does everybody have one? Claudia, need one? Karen needs one. We need a few up on the dais too, please. So as we're doing this, I'll ask for a little pouring music. Blessing music. Give me some blessing music, because we're going to bless this water first. That's nice blessing music. Bruce and I often talk about how we probably knew each other in another life, but sometimes I wonder, what was that relationship like, really? I'm going to invite you to hold your water. I think we have a few up here that are needed, maybe even more. Turns out I always do this too. I don't have one. Millie, would you grab one for me? Richard's got one. So I'm going to ask you to hold your water in your hand for a moment. Perhaps your water came from your own home or someplace far away that you've been this summer, someplace special to you. The water in the little jars is actually water from Little Noonday Creek, which is our little creek that runs right through the Emerson property. And it is very beautiful water. I invite you to go back there sometime. I'm going to invite you to take your water and hold it, and first just check it out. You can swirl it around or look at it. Jim, would you bring me water too, honey? Oh, Marcia's got one for me. Thank you. So water is so fascinating, isn't it? So I'm going to invite you, if you like closing your eyes for meditations, you feel to close your eyes, or you can just have soft eyes as you gaze at your water. I'm going to invite you to take a few breaths now. At the end of the sermon, I asked you some questions about what you may be facing in your life right now. And perhaps some of you are facing something that feels hard. So even though this is a small quantity of water, I'm going to invite us all to, into this water, send our own blessings so that in a virtual way we are holding this water, and as we pour it together, it will together be able to be the buoyancy for those in our community that need holding up. So take a moment as you hold your water and say some words into your water of blessing. What is it that you would like carried in this water as a message to the community who will use this water to hold it up? Feel free to say any words out loud. As a way of speaking out loud, it often is just, it's more clear to the universe, it's more clear to each other. What is it that we mean when we bless this water? So please, out loud, say a word of blessing to the water. I offer this water love and faith. I'm going to invite you to speak louder. Let your voices be heard. We cannot be a community if we hide from each other, so let your voice be heard. What is... Thank you. And I know there's many more words into this water. So in a moment, I'm going to bring up our big bowl. And as we sing our closing hymn, the words will be on our screen. I'll invite you to just come up and add your water to the combined water. And this water, actually, I will boil, but then I will also use it for our child dedication in the spring, or if any time you are having a particularly hard time in your life and you would like a little blessing of water, you can come to me and we'll use this water just as a symbolic way of saying and reminding you that this community holds you. So please rise as you will in body or spirit. And where is our hymn?
100 in the gray hymn.
Okay, but it's right up there. There's a river. And we're going to keep having the river flowing in many places as we come forward. So I'm going to ask this aisle to start, and we'll just start, and you can sing, and then as you come forward, we're just going to offer our water here together. Come on forward, Josh.
We'll get there, folks.
Acknowledge that we did go a little later in our service this morning, but thank you for coming. Please turn to somebody and just say, it matters that you're here. So before we close, I just have a couple requests. First, I invite you to find the places where you may be out of covenant in your relationship with others. Without trying to change others, find ways to sit together and talk and be in this river of love together. And the second thing, I'd like to ask you to find one other person in your life to share this message of love. In our order of service, there was these great little postcards that Maggie made up. And the reason we made these was as an easy way for you to invite someone else to come and join us here on Sunday mornings. I'm sure we all know people who would be nourished by this message of love, that all you really need to do is be in the space of love together and nurturance together, and that we can hold many different spiritual beliefs, we can have many different identities, and that all are welcomed and seen as whole and holy here. So please feel free to take this and offer it to anybody, leave it on a doorstep, leave it in your place of work, just in case someone else would like to know about us, because we would love to expand our river of love. Amen. All right, I think we have, Leslie, want to close this out here with our chalice extinguishing? Lawrence will come up and extinguish our chalice. And did I forget something? I think that's it. Da, da, da. Oh, I think you just say things. Oh, we don't have anything else. Well, we say it's been, please join us for refreshment supper. She's new here, don't. No, she's not.
Extinguish this flame, not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment.
These we carry in our hearts and out into the world until we are together again. Thank you, Lawrence.
We hope you've been nourished in heart and mind by our worship today. If you would like more information about Unitarian Universalism or about participation here at Emerson, please stop by our welcome table in the front entry. I believe Bernadine is the person who's going to be there this morning, ready to meet you. Bernadine, you want to wave to people? All right. Also, please plan to join us next week when Reverend Deborah shares the message, I Hear You. As our chalice, we've already done that. Please join us for refreshments and fellowship in our fellowship room on the first floor near the back doors. Those of you online, please stay tuned in and you will be able to go to virtual breakout rooms for fellowship time. We offer religious education and exploration for children, youth, and adults. See your order of service for today's offerings. Our service is now concluded, but our connection has only begun.
Take peace wherever you go. Go in peace and take peace wherever you go. That's it.